I'm Rob Shaw of theplaygrounder.com, aka ShawsLawPodcast. Today I'm going to give you guys a audio version of an article that I'm putting out on the Playgrounder. But before that, I want to thank Matt and everybody at the Playgrounder staff for allowing me to speak openly and freely about issues that I feel strongly and passionate about as a black man. So let's get into my article. From what's been reported, the Milwaukee Bucks' decision to sit out their game in protest came a little before tip-off. Their opponent, the Orlando Magic, followed suit. This set off a chain reaction throughout the NBA, and all games were postponed on Wednesday. This show of solidarity from the NBA players is powerful. All teams agreed to not play, and if an individual player disagreed with that, it didn't leak to the media. Stephen A. Smith reported that a plethora of players felt blindsided by the Bucks' decision, including the Magic, who weren't included in the discussions, but were ultimately supportive. This approach doesn't work if the players are not unified. The pushback Kyrie received when he suggested not playing before the bubble's inception was because the biggest players in the league weren't on board. The beautiful, intelligent accomplishment of Milwaukee's blindsiding forced the NBA as a whole to make a decision under pressure. The consequence was clear. If you don't ride with us, you're going to be a talking point on ESPN, and Black Twitter is going to fry you. Before I continue, I'd like to address some confusion. Firstly, this is not anti-police rhetoric. It's anti-police brutality rhetoric. Personally, I know good people who put on the badge and actually protect and serve. One of my best friends was a sheriff. My uncle, my mom's brother, was a state trooper for 20 years and a damn good one at that. We are not anti-police, but we are wholeheartedly 100,000,000% anti-police brutality. Clippers coach Doc Rivers gave a post-game interview, and something he said struck a chord within me. How dare the Republicans talk about fear? We're the ones that need to be scared. We're the ones having to talk to every black child. What white father has to give his son a talk about being careful if you get pulled over? Close quote. My kids are years away from driving, and I think about that conversation all the time. I think about how my parents had that conversation with me. Secondly, the protests and boycotts are not about one case, one murder, or one particular instance of racism. Jacob Blake and George Floyd may be the respective straws that broke the camel's back, but they are not all we are fighting for. In 1955, it was the murder of Emmett Till that helped become the catalyst for the civil rights movement. Emmett Till would be 79 today. My dad's 78. My father grew up in the South attending segregated schools. Let that sink in. Emmett Till's death didn't happen millennia or even centuries ago. This is a single generation removed. We are fighting for Eric Gardner, Botham Jean, Tamar Rice, Michael Brown, and many, many more. This fight is difficult when racism is baked into America's DNA. This hits home in the NBA because it's a predominantly black league. According to Tide Sports, the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sports, the NBA is 74% African American and 83% people of color. Before your favorite player was a multimillionaire and the face of your favorite team, he was a black man. You don't stop being a black man after you get money and notoriety. The issues that are plaguing the black community still matter to these gentlemen. If hitting ESPN, Turner, and Disney in their ever so deep pockets is the best way that players can attempt to force change, I'm here for it. If boycotting the rest of the NBA playoffs will create significant change, or at least start moving society in the right direction, y'all can keep the NBA if it means my people can live.